have an OpenShift with a StreamSync cluster with Kafka brokers already installed and running. And we are going to use these brokers on an integration in Syndesis. But instead of writing their URL and port manually, we are going to auto-discover this cluster. To be able to auto-discover the cluster, we need to give the Syndesis user in OpenShift, the Syndesis that is running the pod in OpenShift, privileges to be able to list and get these Kafkas. So we can create a cluster role to be able to get and list all the Kafkas and the custom resource description of those Kafkas, which is already added. And then we add that role to our Syndesis user. Now, going back to Syndesis, we can create a connection of type Kafka. Everything is on the same namespace, and which is called Syndesis for simplicity. We have the cluster running, and we also have the roles defined. These are the roles that are created with the command line we saw before. We can get and list custom resource definitions and Kafkas. And this role is assigned to the Syndesis server user, which is the one Syndesis uses to auto-discover the brokers. Different installations may require different roles, different permissions, different privileges, but the idea is just to give privileges to the user running the Syndesis pod, permission to see those Kafka clusters. Now we create a producer to test later on an integration. Takes some seconds to start, it's already there. So we can go back to Syndesis, create the Kafka broker, and on this drop down we see the producer, the cluster we just created is valid, it works out of the box. We can store this connection to use it later on an integration. We are going to create a very simple integration to test this, which will be just read from the auto-discovered Kafka broker and log the output of this Kafka broker. We don't care what kind of data is going to, we're just going to log the output. What Syndesis is doing right now is building the integration, so it will run on a separated container, on a separated pod. It's downloading the needed dependencies. Here is the pod that is building the integration. And after a few moments, depending on your network, it will finish building. And then it will start deploying. Here we can see how it's building, it's already finishing. Once the build finishes, there will be another pod to deploy. Which is there, which means the integration is already deploying. And we can go back to Syndesis. And once it deploys and is published, which is being published right now, creating the container. On Syndesis, we can go to the activity tab, and for every time we write something on the broker and send it, it will be shown on the log. We have to refresh, and it's there.